this is what your kids are doing to wildlife.
I've been overheard talking about killing a pigeon.
There's a deadly weapon on the streets of our communities.
You've got what looks like a catapult.
You had a catapult.
The catapult.
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 And they shot me with a catapult.
The injuries inflicted are horrific. They're causing tremendous suffering that is prolonged over days, sometimes weeks.
Catapult crime is unprecedented numbers. 7, 8, 9, 10 a week. That's how bad it's getting.
We've been talking to the communities who say they're in the middle of a catapult crime wave.
They simply don't care. The only thing they care about is killing things.
If I didn't see the catapult, I would have thought I got hit with a brick.
If you were struck by one of those in the head, that is potentially going to be lethal.
A direct impact can cause really significant wounds. It's quite similar to maybe like a hammer.
None of us have got anything other than disdain and rage against these vile thugs.
They're not toys, they're dangerous weapons. They should be categorised as a dangerous weapon. They need to be licensed and they need to be moved off the streets.
It's a beautiful park, it's just like a little oasis, and it's absolutely teeming with wildlife, all different species.
Green space, shady lanes and busy lakes. Priory Park on the outskirts of London looks to be a family-friendly place of rest and relaxation. But these Victorian pleasure gardens are now often deadly hunting grounds.
At the back of my mind, I know that every single one of these animals is vulnerable to being maimed, badly injured, orphaned or killed. We're frequently called out to this park to rescue animals that have been horrifically injured by catapults. The injuries inflicted are horrific. They are eyes exploding, bones burst through skin, beaks being blasted off.
Have you found any birds yourself?
There was one case that really stands out in my mind. A mother duck had been shot with a catapult and it left behind her 4 ducklings. We tried really hard to catch them, but we couldn't, and they just slowly disappeared.
A team of volunteer rangers patrol the park, picking up the pieces and bodies following attacks.
So as I'm walking up, I clearly saw the bird just caught in some of the trees just over there. So confirmed catapult to the top of the head.
What's it like to go into the water and get an injured or dead bird?
It's got to the point where it's not affecting me anymore because it's just happening over and over, and now it's a daily occurrence.
The rangers say videos like this of a goose shot at a park just down the road show just how brazen those misusing catapults are.
There are not many crimes where you can commit a crime and then return to the scene of the crime the day later or 2 days later and do it again and nothing happens. And that is exactly what's happening at the moment.
And as we're filming with one local man, yards away, a bird is found on the path.
Do you know how it died?
Possible catapult. Poor old pigeon's been shot. As you can see, the amount of feathers on the floor, the body is still warm, so it's very recent.
Michael carefully removes the bird.
I think they're evil. There's no words. I've done it so many times now. It doesn't get any easier or any better. Sometimes I feel, is it worth coming down here? But I do.
It's now getting to the point where ordinary park users are witnessing horrific attacks. Many fear reprisals, so will only talk anonymously.
A couple of kids fired at a goose with families with their children watching. They did it right in front of them, and the goose actually died in my friend's hand.
I think initially it was a huge amount of sadness, but increasingly, as this problem becomes more and more prevalent, it is turning to anger. There absolutely is a fear. A lot of them are scared about having their face on camera because they're worried that they live in this area and that their homes, their pets, their friends or family or them are going to be targeted by the culprits.
So every single rescue I go on now, I carry a camera with me, just in case anything does happen.
What do you worry about happening?
With these weapons, if they're going to shoot wildlife, what's next? Are they going to shoot a kid?
We've seen that they're willing to shoot at a goose and watch it bleed out and suffer and feel absolutely no guilt or remorse. So it's not so much of a stretch to imagine that those people would be willing to target humans as well.
Why is your land particularly attractive to these catapult poachers?
I think because there are a lot of good habitats with lots of wildlife, and what do they want to do? They want to kill wild things.
What's this area?
This is part of our nature recovery area of the farm, full of wildlife.
I'm on a woodland walk with Farmer Lou. She manages this forest and it's home to many rare birds.
I'll find gangs of young lads armed to the teeth with catapults, one of whom I'm sure was carrying a gun, and I see it as my job to see them off.
Lou's woods are a popular spot for something called lamping.
What they do is they come out with very powerful lamps and they shine them up into the trees. It looks like, you know, a war film at night with a bombing raid with the searchlights circling round. And anything they can see in their torchlight, they'll fire shots at. At night, we don't really own the land, they do. They simply don't care. The only thing they care about is killing things.
In the UK, all wild birds are protected by law. Even during hunting seasons, using a catapult to kill a bird would likely be unlawful, as it's not considered humane. So what happens when you meet them?
They tend to put their phones in your faces to stop you filming them. I don't know how many times I've been called a paedophile. Why should I put up with that?
But this problem is not just confined to the woods and the hours of darkness. Farmers like this one attacked in his tractor are also being targeted.
With catapults and ball bearings, we're having vehicles shot at. I don't remember it being anything like this when I was a kid.
Phil and Alan are farmers here in the Weald.
Just literally went to feed them one morning. Thought that's funny, there's a few missing here. Walked up further up the field round the corner and there lay 2 adult sheep and 3 dead lambs.
His sheep, ewes and their lambs were shot at close range with catapults.
They were bleeding from their head or eyes. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that is an execution.
Phil says he's having to get used to scenes like this.
In the past 12 to 18 months, we've lost 12 sheep, lambs and adults. They're not just pound signs, you invest everything into them.
So how do you feel when you see them in this state and suffering?
It makes you feel sick. Sick to the stomach.
Many in rural areas have told us they feel they're on the front line against catapult crime and they want more support.
Vehicles have been targeted, livestock's been targeted, wildlife's been targeted, and I'm afraid something needs to be done.
Are the police doing enough?
The police are trying harder than they did a few years ago, and they're encouraging us to report absolutely everything. But we do need more action because the problem is getting worse.
So where's this that we're going?
So this is the property store, and in here we have several catapults and ball bearings.
They look horrendous.
That would certainly do some significant damage.
We're up close and personal with the weapons themselves.
Catapults, bag of ball bearings.
How would you describe these weapons?
If you were struck by one of those in the head, that is potentially going to be lethal.
Where did you get them?
These have been seized from people that have been stopped following reports of poaching or reports of birds being shot at with catapults. I believe in one of these bags there's actually a feather. There you go. So you've got a pheasant feather, Caught red-handed? Yeah, the evidence of the birds that they've been shooting as well.
So tell us where we're heading.
So we're now heading off down towards Canterbury.
That's not very rural.
It's not, but it just actually shows where this sort of activity is taking place. Anywhere that's basically got some wildlife.
Darren and his partner are on patrol.
Obviously, I wouldn't want to find any dead wildlife, but as you can see, because they're relatively friendly, he's quite an easy target. He's just sitting there, someone with a catapult.
Oh, he's off.
But the police are not just up against catapult crime on the streets.
Generally groups of youths with catapults that are just targeting anything to kill, and then they're sharing those pictures and videos of themselves doing this on social media.
Major social media platforms like Meta, X and TikTok ban posts featuring animal abuse and say they take action against accounts that are in violation. But clearly, some slip through.
Anyone in here, make yourself known! Stay there!
Rural crime teams across the UK are busy.
So Catapult.
Like Kent Police, challenging these three youths destroying a derelict building.
Stay there! We've had multiple reports of kids firing at birds in the trees.
Or reprimanding young people suspected of shooting birds.
Right, simple. That's all I want. Right.
So what exactly is the law around catapults?
Is it illegal to carry a catapult around?
Per se, no. You can legally carry one. However, the context in which you carry one will determine whether you are committing offences. So I would always advise you don't carry one. Walking along here, where we've got a lot of wildlife and you've got catapult and ball bearings in your pocket, why have you got that is the question you need to be prepared to be able to answer.
Police use a combination of laws protecting wildlife and those dealing with offensive weapons to clamp down on offenders. And with catapult crime, there's usually no lack of evidence.
Basically, what we have here is a freezer where we store any birds, any wildlife that's been killed. In here, unfortunately, there's a couple of dead pigeons as a result of a catapult incident. Just see his beak showing through. So we just got the evidence of there's a dead pigeon. You put the two together, and should we need to forensically link it, we could.
Do you need more powers to crack down on these catapult attacks?
I would certainly welcome more powers.
If someone was badly injured, that would be a serious situation, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. You're talking potentially murder.
Catapult crime, yeah, it's unprecedented numbers. It's awful. It's non-stop.
In the middle of busy suburban Surrey is a little oasis of calm. Well, at least until feeding time.
So yeah, we're really in the thick of it here, aren't we?
They can come and go as they please, fly in, fly out, live as wild as they can with all-you-can-eat buffet.
Are you busy?
Always busy, unfortunately. We're getting called out to numerous types of rescues.
How many catapult attacks would you generally have in here?
7, 8, 9, 10 a week. That's how bad it's getting. Myself, I was called out 3 times in one day. Yeah, one a day minimum.
It's sort of like a hospital.
Exactly that, yes. Each pen has a type of bird in it, depending on injury. Obviously, the critical ones would go straight into ICU where they'd be operated on. So this is the board where you can see we've pinned the countless items we removed from swans and other waterfowl.
Danny says each one represents hundreds of animals injured by catapults. But there are some good news stories.
We've just disturbed her. She's just waddling away now with the blue tag on. She was shot in the face. And this was the ball bearing we retrieved from her. Her wound was bad on the side of her face. If it had been an inch higher, she obviously wouldn't have made it. She would have died.
You've told me that they're not usually good news stories.
A lot of our call-outs have been dead on arrivals or have died before we can get them to the sanctuary.
Dealing with this many cases, day in, day out, takes a toll.
You sound quite emotional as well when you're talking about it.
Of course, it's hard not to. Wildlife is so vulnerable, they're so trusting, and then you've got these idiots minus thugs just going around who are seriously cowardly acts of pure evilness.
You're talking about a traditional weapon. How do you ban that?
These aren't the Huckleberry Finn Boy Scouts hitting tin cans. These are high-powered, high-velocity catapults. You can fire a ball bearing at a velocity of 100 miles an hour with extreme accuracy. But the sad thing is, they're classified as toys still. They're not toys, they're dangerous weapons. They should be categorised as a dangerous weapon. They need to be licensed and they need to be moved off the streets.
We're in our experimental ballistics facility here at the University of Kent. This is one of only a couple such facilities in the whole of the UK.
We've heard how powerful and dangerous catapults can be, and there's a way to prove it.
Today we're going to go old-fashioned catapult firing.
But first we're going to need a test subject.
We're going to essentially simulate part of the human head. Inside of our box here, we have our bone simulant, and then on top of it, we've got our silicone rubber material, which is going to be simulating the skin. What we're doing will give us a good idea of the type of trauma that we might see.
Chris is one of the leading UK experts on ballistic injuries. In this lab, they've tested some very powerful and deadly weapons.
Safety is key whenever we do any of the experiments. Loose-fitting clothes, eye protection, and a hard hat.
And the catapult, have you got that? Have you been working with catapults before?
It's definitely a first for me.
On average, these ball bearings are travelling at 134 miles an hour.
So here's our model, and we can see we've got quite a significant bit of damage in there. And then if I pull and open this up, we've got some quite significant kind of cracks and fractures here.
So if that was on a person, that would be severe?
That would be really severe, you know, it's a serious hospitalisation there.
As well as our short experiment, Dr. Chris has been subjecting his models to extensive testing.
A direct impact can cause what we would call a blunt trauma. It's quite similar to maybe like a hammer. And on the other side, so this is near where the brain would be, you can start to see fragments that might actually embed within the brain itself.
And it's not just an injury to the head that would be concerning.
We also have these other bone materials, so this could be like an impact on the shin or on the arms. You're getting significant cracking, which is going to open up and cause quite significant trauma inside the body.
The conclusions are inescapable.
So what is your sort of view on them? Are these deadly weapons?
Absolutely, they are deadly weapons.
I was attacked outside where I lived. They shot me with a catapult and I thought I got hit with a brick.
Catapult attacks are not always restricted to wildlife.
And just tell me about the injury you sustained.
Bruising to the back, bruising to my wrist, suspected fractured rib.
This man is so worried about revenge attacks, he only agreed to talk to us anonymously.
You saw the catapult attack coming, did you?
Yeah, I see his arm pulling it back, aiming at me, and then I just faced my back to him.
What do you think would have happened if you hadn't have turned your back instinctively?
Could have hit me straight in the face. If you hit someone in the head with that, it's going to cause a lot of damage. Bleed in the brain could have killed me.
This is what your kids are doing to wildlife.
This is the teenager who shot him just 2 days later. After pleading guilty, he was given a community sentence and ordered to pay compensation of £200.
How much of a problem are the catapults?
You can have little 8-year-old, 9-year-old kids take them to school. They're not going to get in trouble for having it. For having it in your pocket should be possession of an offensive weapon.
There was one attack that made headlines.
I heard an almighty crack, and next thing you know, there's blood flying out of my mouth. I've almost got my teeth in my hand.
Tom talked to the BBC at the time of the attack.
The top row of my teeth, the top 5, they were shattered, they were gone. The bottom 4 were in fragments and pieces, so they were pulled out. This is the most horrendous thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Similar attacks are happening to other people, and if this doesn't come to an end, someone's going to end up getting killed.
I'm a consultant maxillofacial surgeon, treating conditions of the face, the mouth, the jaws and the neck.
There's no underestimating just how serious injuries from a catapult attack can be.
2 or 3 times a year we get called because there's been an injury, and we know that it's a catapult injury because we see a ball bearing somewhere within the face. So this was a patient who presented to A&E with a small flesh wound just next to his eye here, and this is what we found. It's a ball bearing sitting where you'd expect the eyeball to sit. So it's displaced the eyeball. This young lad lost his sight.
And there are others, several a year.
This is another young man who's hit at the bus stop and felt an impact on the side of his head. It could certainly break the skull and it could cause a brain hemorrhage.
It seems catapults are crossing the border from rural weapon to urban menace.
When you see a young lad in his teens who's lost his vision, you know it's going to really affect the rest of his life, and that's really sad.
You can buy a catapult and elastic for £10 and you can go out and you can have a great time shooting it. It's a fairly safe sport as long as you have good practice.
In a private woodland in Kent, a legitimate sports team is practising.
It's pretty much like archery. The way that you would shoot a bow is very, very similar. Basically, this is what we call a peg. You get 3 shots on the target. The first shot, you'll get 3 points. Third shot, you'll get 1 point. And it's easy to miss. Like that.
This is the West Kent Catapult Club. This group, and others, seldom speak out about their sport.
To a lot of us, it's a lifestyle, and it gets you out and about. Meeting the guys down here, it's a lot to me, really.
When you see catapults in the news, you sort of know it's going to be someone shot a swan or something. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel angry that someone's so stupid to do that, and you know, to risk us not being able to partake in our sport.
It's just horrible, absolutely horrible, and none of us have got anything other than disdain and rage against these vile thugs. We want them caught, we want an example made. The naughty boy has always been there, from William through Bart Simpson, both versions of Dennis the Menace, and it's all jolly funny. But there's a difference between comedic naughty and downright vile, and that's where it changes, and that's where the whole community rises up as one and really detests these people.
And some here think that joining a club like this could be the solution to catapult misuse.
People don't understand that there's a craft and a discipline and a sort of honour code, a respect for the sport.
This is England!
When it comes to official slingshot shooting, all UK nations have their own associations. And England came fourth in the inaugural Slingshot World Cup in 2018.
These are 11mm.
They are pretty big.
You'll probably be pushing maybe 350 feet a second with that.
How accurate is it?
We hit matchsticks regularly.
But thanks to those who use catapults illegally, legitimate shooters say they're often targeted unfairly.
Do you feel you get a bad reputation?
100%. I mean, when I just sort of advertise the club, like looking for new members, the amount of negativity I get is unreal. I work so you can teach them how to shoot swans better and things like that. But they don't know what we do down here. That's the thing. If they had an open mind and saw what we actually do, I think they'd have a completely different outlook.
There's no underestimating the strength of feeling over catapults. Ray's team held a protest in their park calling for tougher laws.
Some people don't realise that this is a crime. They think it's, you know, just boys being boys, and it really feels like no action is being taken.
You're under arrest for causing unnecessary suffering to a protected animal.
Police say their stretched rural teams are cracking down, online and in person.
Stones, ball bearings.
But these are communities on the edge.
I'm quite good at anger, but it comes close to being despair sometimes. We've got to stop these children having these lethal weapons before they start killing people, because it'll happen, and probably happen quite soon.
Surely restricting the sale of catapults would stop these poor animals getting hurt?
Absolutely not. You might as well sweep sand uphill.
The government says it will keep reviewing the law to make sure the public are protected.
What I feel, disappointment, that we live in a society where this is being deemed as acceptable because nothing's been done about it.
Things cannot go on like this. This is a crime wave that is being ignored